So there I was, deep in survival mode, and I didn't even know it. Girl. So the year was about 2012, and at the time I was 21. My son probably was like two and a half. So I was living on the south side of Chicago in public housing, and every Saturday almost looked identical for years. So I would go to the currency exchange up the street, grab some quarters so I can go to the laundromat and wash our clothes for the following week. So I pop my clothes into the wash machine. Then I go next door, get a little snack, some flaming hots with cheese, peppers, meat, a little side of a wildwood peach pop. Going back next door, hoping and praying nobody stole my clothes out the wash machine. Cause yes, girl, it did happen. Um, and after I got my clothes out the washer, put them in the dryer, we headed back home. Mm, about maybe an hour later, after putting up clothes, making sure my son was good, we back outside, and I am catching a bus to Cook County Jail. At this time, my son's father probably in jail for like about maybe a year now. In total, he served about like 3 years. So we went up there to see my child's father. And me being young, I'm not thinking anything of it. Like I'm thinking I'm being a good wife, a good mom, bringing my son to see his dad. But the whole time, it was just something that I shouldn't have been exposed to, and it was something that my son shouldn't have been exposed to. I remember at the time, like my son touching the glass window and his dad touching the glass window, and he's not understanding why his dad can't pick him up, why he can't hold him, why he can't come back home with us. Um, but again, I'm so deep in survival mode and I'm on autopilot mode that I'm not realizing that this was our life. This was the norm. Like I'm not thinking anything outside of this. So every single Saturday, we caught the bus to go up there. And after a while, I had to realize like it's just something wrong with this picture. I want more for myself, right? So that was the lowest. That had to be one of the lowest points of my life. And again, I'm living in public housing. So everyone around me is kind of going in a similar direction or they're worse off. So I really never thought anything of it. So now that I'm older and I'm looking back, I'm like, wow, like I was really, really stuck in survival mode and I didn't know it. And I didn't know how to get myself out of it because I didn't know how to talk to anybody about what I'm going through. I was embarrassed. Like, I'm not going to lie. I was so embarrassed. I didn't think about journaling. Journaling? I ain't got time to journal. Like, I wasn't in my feelings like that. I was more when you in survival mode, especially when you living in the hood, you can't have a smile on your face. Like when you're a pretty girl walking down the street, you have to look a certain type of way. You can't look like somebody can try you, right? So I dressed with baggier clothes. I didn't want anybody to see my figure. I walked around with a mean mug. I barely smiled. And that performance that I had to put on affected me deeper than I thought. So I wasn't into listening to positive affirmations. I'm like, turn that Jeezy on. I need a vacation. My mind was just, it was so different in the past than how it is now. So, yeah, I was so deep in it. But here are a few things that I just wish I recognized earlier, right? So, first off, I was always rushing. Like this was the number one sign that I should have realized that I was always in survival mode. I'm always rushing. So every single morning I am getting up maybe 5 times after I hit that snooze button. I'm like, I hit the snooze button, I hit the snooze button, and I'm like, okay, let me drag myself out of bed, barely able to brush my teeth, grab a bagel, do something for myself before I have to worry about, okay, did my son lay his clothes out? Is he together? Let me make sure I'm getting the household together. It's like as soon as I wake up, my mind is automatically on everybody else, and now we're rushing. And that feeling was it was the norm, but at the time I didn't realize how draining it was. So I'm rushing, like even when I'm eating, I'm rushing. If I am driving to go pick up my son after school, I'm rushing. I'm like the last parent to pick him up in after school, paying all these after school fees. So my whole life was just all about rushing. And that was one of the number one signs that I was definitely in survival mode. The second sign, oh, I was always putting on a performance. When you're a good girl, it's like you live by everybody else's narrative around you, whether it's family, friends, your man. It's like you tiptoe around everybody else's feelings because you want people to feel comfortable around you. You want them to like you, right? So you're living up to everybody else's standards. So you're not truly being yourself. And I felt that in so many areas of my life, especially within relationships, because I was always playing the cool girlfriend, right? Oh, you got friends that's females? Oh, that's fine. Oh, we can't afford to go out on a date night, even though I loved being romanced. I love it. I want you to say, hey babe, be ready at 7. I made reservations for XYZ. That's something I deeply, deeply always wanted in my relationship. But a lot of relationships I was in, oh, we have to budget for this. Oh, we have to do that. Oh, okay, that's fine. Um, oh, you want us to get on a deeper level with each other? You want to move in? Oh, okay, I'm cool with it. Girl, if I could go back in time. But yeah, it was a performance. I basically was performing for everybody else, and that kept me stuck in survival mode. Another sign that I noticed that I was deep in survival mode was getting sucked into draining energy of draining conversations, or just draining people, draining situations. I would get stuck in these conversations because I didn't know how to set boundaries. I didn't know how to switch the subject or just walk away like, you know what? This is something I don't want to talk about. Or maybe I would say, this is something that's kind of draining my energy. I'll call you back, because sometimes you'll be in the middle of just doing something peaceful for yourself, right? Maybe you watching your favorite TV show. Maybe you winding down for the day, about to take a bubble bath, and here go Keisha. Wanna call you because her man was cheating and she wanna go slash his tires. It's it was just always chaos. Like my friend groups, the relationships I would have, my people in my family, it was just always some type of drama going on. And instead of me kind of setting those healthy boundaries, I got sucked right into it because, oh, I want them to like me. I don't want anybody to feel offended if I say no, or if I feel like, oh, I gotta call you back, let me hang up. So, oh my God, putting on a performance and getting sucked into energy draining situations, that was like, oh my goodness. What else? What else? Girl, building relationships with people, whether it's friends or whether it was men, off of trauma bonding with people and thinking that you are building a solid foundation with them. I I felt so connected with certain people because we shared a certain past together. Or, oh my God, you dealt with this with certain family members. Oh my God, me too. Let's bond off of that. Let's build a relationship off that. No, 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 no. You do not build healthy relationships with people off of trauma because that's going to keep you stuck. If both of you all have experienced trauma and there's no growth within them, it's no growth within you, you all are just going to be stagnant. You're going to continue to just be in the loop of talking about the same things, playing that victim role. It's not going to get you anywhere. So that was one of the signs of me being in survival mode that I wish I would have seen earlier because I just got dragged into so many relationships that were just ongoing for years that I felt obligated to because of history. But if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't choose that friendship. I wouldn't choose that relationship. So, um, what was the last thing? The last thing that I realized that, when I realized that I was in survival mode was not living up to my full potential. And at times, this still creeps in today. I realized that I had a fear of being successful. I would have so many great ideas or just like business ventures, like, oh, I can do this, or I can start that. And I would never pursue it because it took me outside of my comfort zone. And I always took that as a sign of, oh my goodness, if something is making me feel uneasy or not comfortable, obviously that means it's not for me. Girl, no. No, no, no. If something makes you feel uncomfortable, that is a sign that you are in the right direction because at the end of the day, there is no growth in being comfortable. And I've learned that over time. So, yeah, if you can relate to any of this, like, girl, trust me, you're not alone. Okay. I lived like that for years and it took a lot of inner work to get to where I am today. Right. So, let me tell you some of the things that have helped me to kind of like come into the woman I am right now. And when you're on a self development journey, it's not like, oh, okay, here's the finish line, I'm done. Like, no. Self development, aka glow up journey, is forever. It's my forever mood. I will always be on the up and coming because I know that I'm not at my full potential and I don't want anything to ever cap me off. So I feel like I I started doing so many things to get me to this point, but initially, the first thing I did was learn how to process my emotions. When I became more emotionally intelligent, that changed the game for me. I stopped thinking I stopped overthinking every situation that I was in, and I started to lean more into my logical side instead of my emotional side when it came to like friendships or relationships, or like things that would happen at work. I learned how to reserve my energy, right? Because a lot of times when we give out all of these big emotions to situations or to people, it's draining. And I started to look at my energy as currency, right? Because you're not going to just spend your money any and everywhere. You're just not. So that's how I started looking at my energy. I'm not going to just spend my energy any and everywhere. I'm going to be super cautious of who I'm engaging with and what's the outcome of this situation. I started to think of the bigger picture. And that helped me so much because sometimes I would just live in the moment and I didn't care what the outcome was. If my emotions were raging and I wanted to get my point across, I'm just gonna argue and argue, and I'm wasting so much energy. And it's like, why? What is the bigger picture here? Like I had to start um, wheeling myself back, and I had to understand that everybody does not deserve your time and energy, and you have to start being more emotionally intelligent about certain situations, because at the end of the day, you're only draining yourself. You're only hurting yourself. So I started to value my time. I started to value my worth. Girl, that changed the game. So what else did I do? I set those healthy boundaries, and I stopped caring who got affected by me setting these boundaries. If you feel some type of way, whether you're my friend, you're my man, or even my family, if you feel some type of way about me setting a boundary, you shouldn't be in my life. Like that's, and it's not being mean. It's like a lot of times as women, it's especially like nice girls, right? And we tend to people please. Girl, I was a chronic, chronic people pleaser, and I felt like I had to be able to make everybody feel comfortable. No, no. I got to a point where I had to realize, like, if this situation or if this person is no longer serving me, I need to learn how to disengage. Perfect example. So, my child's father, straight narcissist. Okay. We met at, I was 14 and he was 15. I went through so much domestic violence with him, um, restraining orders, like any and everything you can think of. I went through it with him. So when we got older, of course, he did not mature like I thought he would. And when it came time for him to see his son, or for us to meet up, because I did not allow him to come back to my house, because he always would say, if I find out where you live, I'm burning your house down, or I'm burning your car up. And I knew he was serious because he did that to one of his other children's mother. Yeah. So he was the type of person that he would argue and argue and argue, and I would sit there and I'm gonna match his energy. Oh my goodness, that stopped immediately when I learned that there was no real intent behind his conversations besides just working me up. I stopped communicating with him. I just couldn't do it anymore, because if I'm leaving a conversation crying and just feeling like my feelings are all over the place, I shouldn't be talking to you. It's not worth it. I shut that down immediately. Um who was another? Oh, going out drinking every weekend. Like when I was in my 20s, I was drinking, I'm going to the clubs, and I had to learn, like, okay, my girls is calling me to come outside and do this and do that. Being a nice girl. Okay, okay, I'll come out, I'll do whatever. Not realizing that I should have just set healthy boundaries and been like, you know what? Not tonight, or I'm tired, or I just want to stay in and watch, some movies with my son, or whatever the case may be. But I didn't know how to say no without feeling guilty. So setting those healthy boundaries has helped me so much. What is another thing that I did? Oh my goodness. Cleansing my timeline. Okay. The first the first the first social media platform that I went for was Facebook, because Facebook was something that I've had for a very long time. Like I think I went right from MySpace to Facebook. And so Facebook is something I've had since high school. So I have so many friends, family members on my Facebook account. And like every time I'm logging in, I'm looking at my timeline. Rest in peace, Pookie, Frida guys, or it's girls in the neighborhood that are talking about like meeting up with each other and fighting over these low vibrational ugh just it was horrible. It was really bad. Like they want to fight over these low vibrational guys, and it's like this was on my timeline so much to the point where again, this was my norm, right? I lived in it. A lot of people that were my Facebook friends, I lived in public housing with them. I went to high school with them. So their mindset is like they didn't have any personal development. They didn't have any personal growth about them. So it was draining to me after a while and I didn't even realize it. So what I did was I completely abandoned Facebook. Like Facebook put a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't want anything to do with it. And I migrated over to IG. Now, I was following a lot of people from Facebook on my IG, but what I started to do was I started following people that were aligned with the woman that I wanted to become. That, okay, that right there was a game changer because if I'm into health and wellness, I'm into hair care, I'm into living a better lifestyle. That's the type of women that I want to see on my timeline because if you think about it, the average person looks at social media 3, 4, maybe even more times a day, right? So that's almost like your visual vision board. If you're consuming this content every single day, what is it leaving you feeling? Like when you close your app, do you feel drained? Do you feel like kind of anxious or do you feel inspired? Do you feel empowered? So that was one of the things that I did to help my mental and emotional state so much. I would definitely recommend that. Just go through your whatever platform you're on, whether it's TikTok, IG, Facebook, just go through your timeline and do like an audit. Just start scrolling, do an audit and see if the people on there, did you follow them out of guilt? Like, okay, this person followed me, so let me follow them back. Or is it somebody that you truly align with? Like, be cautious of that because we take in social media, like I said, every single day. So I would highly recommend that. The next thing I did, oh, trauma bonding. Like we said, like I realized that I was trauma bonding, first of all, with people. And that was one of the hardest things I had to realize. I really felt like there was a connection with a lot of people that dealt with a lot of similarities I did. Maybe it was domestic violence, maybe it was like family drama or whatever. And I was like, oh, we're connecting on this level. This is great. This means we should start a friendship or a relationship. Mm-mm. I realized the signs of trauma bonding. And I was like, you know what? This is not going to make me progress in life. I want to push myself. Oh, and this is what I did. I love the fact that I even started doing this. I started looking on Eventbrite. And those that don't know, Eventbrite is like an app that tells you events that's going on in your city or other cities. So you can type in on Eventbrite, like, oh my God, let me get some tea because my throat is so dry. This is turmeric and lemon tea. Turmeric does wonders for your skin. I highly, highly recommend it. So, so I go on Eventbrite and I'll type in like wellness. I'll type in yoga, and then I start finding all of these events around me, and I'm meeting all of these amazing women that are they're aligned with everything that I'm trying to do in life. They're about their their money, they're about fitness, they're living a healthy lifestyle, they're traveling. And oh my goodness, going to these events, it's so uplifting because, first of all, I go by myself. I'm the type of person that I don't mind going out with friends. I don't. But I know if I go to these events with friends, I'm probably going to stay within my friend group. I'm not really going to kind of go and enforce myself to talk to other people and mingle. I go to these events because it's easier for me to push myself outside of my comfort zone and just throw myself to the alligators and just start talking. And I've gotten so many business cards and made connections and networked, and I love it. I love it. A lot of times, yes, I am scared, I am nervous, but guess what? I'm living my best life, and I am on a journey to becoming her. And the woman that I'm becoming, she's the type of person that wants to network with other women that's like her. And I have to embody that. There is no more being afraid. Because like I said earlier, there's no growth in being comfortable, right? Um, so yeah, that was one of the things I did that has really been a game changer. What's another thing that I've been doing? Oh, so I used to love, and sometimes I still do. I love watching reality TV shows, right? But it was like the drama ones, like Bad Girls Club, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like I loved getting the tea, the drama, the friend fights, and girl, mindset, toxic. So I like watching those type of shows, but I didn't know what it was doing for me at that time. Like, I don't know if it was feeding into this kind of like negative mindset, or maybe it was like just comforting me. Like, I'm not sure why I really like to just sit back and binge watch those shows. But I got to a point in time where I'm like, okay, the TV that I'm watching, I needed to feed me in some type of way. I needed to be able to, like, is it inspiring me? Is it empowering me to be better? Is it teaching me a skill? So right now, I barely watch TV. Like sometimes I watch a little bit of nostalgia. Like I like watching Martin, The Nanny, things from back in my day. I don't watch too much of modern TV, but I love educating myself more than I love entertaining myself. And so that has helped me to level up because now I'm obsessed with learning. Like I watch YouTube more than anything. It's so many great resources on YouTube. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm making my tea, I'm doing my yoga, and I always listen to a positive affirmation video on YouTube. And I love listening to women that align with my lifestyle. So that has been such a game changer for me. I also listen to a lot of podcasts. So yeah, that's helped so much. And what's another thing? I have notes right here. So I'm just like looking at my notes. Um, oh, the way I talk. So of course, like living in the hood, I everybody was like, "Oh, you talk like a white girl. Oh, you talk like this. You don't fit in." I shrank myself so much to be able to fit in an environment that I didn't even belong in the first place. And that was something that really was so detrimental to my overall growth because for 11 years, yes, 11 whole years, I am living in public housing and I'm putting on this performance of somebody that I wasn't. And that to me, like I had to dim down my vocabulary. Um, like when I was explaining things, I couldn't over explain because people's attention spans were short. I really had to dim my light in a way that just made me feel so uncomfortable. But again, it was the norm. So I'm not understanding why I feel the way I feel or why I feel depressed or anxious or always stressed. But Yeah, I worked on the way that I communicated with people. I worked on the way that I talked. I worked on my vocabulary because I'm the type of girl, like, I'll read something and I come across the word and I'm just like, wait, okay, I'll pronounce it like I'm trying to pronounce it. And then what I'll do is I'll look it up. So once I look that word up, I'll write it down. Like a lot of times I'll write down new words and then I'll write down the meaning. And I'll put these words on my planner because I like to learn almost every day. Like I don't want a day to go past where I'm not learning something. So I write down the word and I write down its meaning. And then, like, slowly I try to incorporate that word into my everyday vocabulary, right? So that's just like a little brain challenge that I do for myself. And I love it. I'm such a nerd. So yeah, these are things that, of course, like I didn't change overnight. I didn't. It took years for me to get to this point, but it started with my mindset. Not anything else but my mindset. Like I had to understand like this is not the woman that I want to become. Like I was at a point in my life where I truly, I'm not even gonna say didn't like, I hated the woman I was becoming. I didn't like her. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't even realize who I was. I was getting to a point where I felt like I was so disconnected from who I was because before moving into public housing, I was living with my mom and like I was the type of girl that I was in tap dance lessons, okay? African dance lessons. My mom was taking me on train rides across the states. Like I was going to nature camps and on the weekends I was like at the University of Chicago and studying and I my mom had me in so many different programs. I was the only child. I was spoiled. I was the type of kid in high school. I came to school with a new jabot, pink hot razor phone, the jabots with the matching shirts and the academics. Girl, okay, I had everything. The Dunienberg purses, spoiled. Then all of a sudden, I landed in public housing. Okay, my life, my life got flipped upside down. Became a teen mom. I was every statistic you could think of, but I pushed past all of that to become the woman I am today. So I want you to know that it's possible. My whole point of even sharing this is like if I can do it, okay, you can do it. I know you can. So I wrote down a reflection prompt. So my question for you is what is one area of your life where you feel like you've been in survival mode for just way too long? Like, I really want you to sit with that this week. What habits, maybe what people, what situations are keeping you stuck in survival mode? Because a lot of times it can be people around you, your relationships that can keep you in scarcity that can keep you in survival mode. Your environments can keep you in survival mode. So really just sit back and think like what area of your life do you feel like you're in survival mode and what can you do to slowly change it? Because it's not going to happen overnight, of course. But what steps, what actionable steps can you do to start changing the world around you? Okay. So, if you are ready to start your glow up journey, I just opened up my book. So, I am doing one on one personal development sessions where I really just I want to help you with a custom plan to help you transition out of survival mode and just help you level up mind, body, and soul. Okay, so if you're interested, I will leave the link down in the description box. I appreciate you so much for staying to the end of this video, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. So, bye for now. Love you.